Now, for Louisville, the mission is pretty simple. Yes, they would love to get off to a great start in ACC play, but they would also very much like to win a game.
Well, I think they're one and the same.
Yes.
I think they can, by winning the game, they get off to a good start. They have to handle the basketball, no turnovers, good shot selection, and do a great job on the glass.
20th meeting all time between these two teams, off and running as we get a look at the Cardinals starting five. James, Ellis, Huntley, Hatfield, Curry getting the start today, and Jalen Withers rounding out the five for Kenny Payne's crew.
I think with the change in the starting lineup with Curry, they're really trying to get the ball inside. They think they can take advantage of Miami on the glass.
That has been a negative spot here for Miami. Despite their 7-1 start, rebounding has been a bit of an issue, and even in their win against Rutgers in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, they struggled against Rutgers. The three ball missed and off the mark from Ellis. Out of bounds, last touch though by the Hurricanes.
And see, that's what Kenny Payne is trying to do with Ellis, is not have all the pressure on his back. He doesn't have to come up with tough shots. Let the other four guys help you. Let's get easy shot opportunities.
So Louisville had a rough outing against Maryland in their last contest as a lob play in here to try to beat the shot clock is unsuccessful. Back over to Miami. They started out very slowly in that game. And Perry, when a team struggles to win games, and in this case Louisville hasn't won a game this season, the start of these games can be very important.
Oh, without question. I mean, you start off with a tough shot and then you come back with a turnover. So that's not the way they really want to start the ball game.
Wong, Miller, Omier, keep an eye on him. He's dealing with an injury we'll talk about later on. Pack and Poplar. Pack for three. That's a little short, and the rebound corralled by Mike James of Louisville. 1 minute in. Thanks for spending your Sunday with us along the ACC network. For the opener, an ACC play between Miami and Louisville. Entry pass intercepted and stolen by Norchad Omier. The lob and the save to dip, and the bucket picked up by Jordan Miller.
And that's what happens whenever you turn the ball over, and that's been an Achilles heel for Louisville, turning it over in an easy basket for Miami.
Getting to the bucket is Ellis to kick out, open shooter for three. It's in. So Jalen Withers pops a three to give Louisville a 3-2 edge.
Jalen Withers is an excellent basketball player, highly recruited young man, a lot of talent.
Louisville shooting 29% from three. That's a mark they'll obviously look to improve on here today.
One of the things Louisville wants to do is try to eliminate Miami's penetration.
Look at Poplar off the mark on the jumper. The rebound corral. Ellis in. Down low. Going off the glass and in. Brandon Huntley Hatfield.
That's why Louisville's gone with the big lineup. They really think they could take advantage of that, their size inside against Miami.
So a good start for the Cardinals. And off the glass and in on the attack, it's Norchad Omier.
If folks haven't seen Omier, he is really a talented player. He's an undersized post guy that plays with angles and has really done a great job of scoring in the low post for Miami.
He can make things happen on both sides of the basketball. In the lane, Withers is tied up. Or check that, Curry tied up. It'll go back over to Miami.
That time where Curry got the ball, received the ball, you have to give him the ball in the place where he doesn't have to put the ball on the floor. He can catch and finish.
Curry had a great close to the season last year. He hasn't been able to quite find that rhythm this year. And rolling to the lane, and a two-handed jam applied by Omier. So Omier off to a nice start.
Well, what they do with Omier, they put him at the high post, and they use him for ball screens. And if you hedge, he rolls and he gets easy baskets like he just got.
2-on-2 for Poplar, save, count it, and the foul for Jordan Miller, able to get the basketball out of that scrum.
You know, this is what we talked about earlier, and this is what's gotten Louisville in trouble. Runouts. And you get runouts because of your shot selection and your turnovers. And that's where Louisville has to do a better job of eliminating those two things and making people go against their half-court defense.
Kenny Payne looking on as the first foul picked up by Mike James. 7 possessions, 4 turnovers so far for this Louisville team.
What Kenny Payne is telling his young guard is passing angles, be patient, and where you deliver the basketball is extremely important. Kenny, being a post guy, understands guards have to give you the ball where you can operate.
7 straight for the Hurricanes to lead it by 4. 9-5. Percy Miller into the game for the Cardinals. Oh, Isaiah Wong down on the floor. The shot missed by Miller, and Wong is grabbing his left leg.
It looked like he got caught up on the screen and maybe caught a knee.
Time is out on the floor.
They continue to look over Wong. We'll step out for a quick break. Miami up. With Mark Packer, Trey Boston, and Taylor Tannenbaum. They'll talk football, but also we'll have the latest from around the conference. Weekdays at 4 Eastern right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. So right as we went to break there, Isaiah Wong was in pain on the floor, and Perry looked like he took a tough screen.
Yes, he did. He got a knee right there in the thigh area, and they're probably taking him back just to loosen him up. They've got so many different machines that releases some of the muscle pains and spasms.
So we'll see Bensley Joseph into the game, and rolling to the rim and scoring yet again is Norchad Omier. He's the active leader in the nation in rebounding per game, but showing off the offensive game.
Well, Louisville's going to have to do something to handle that action. We saw them in their practice or shoot around last night. Coach talked about that.
Down low. The hook shot is in for Brandon Huntley-Hatfield. So Huntley-Hatfield using that big 6'10" frame to establish position.
And that also goes at Omier, which puts some defensive pressure on him. But when they put Omier high like that and they send the guards off of him, the big has to make a decision whether or not he's going to hedge or the guard has to go under.
So off the miss by Jordan Miller. By the way, J.J. Traynor, who's into the game, he started favoring his side right after that activity along the baseline, and he's going to head out of the game. By the way, Isaiah Wong is expected to return to the game.
Well, he's coming back now. I mean, he's the first guy you make sure is on the bus. They just want to loosen it up and everything. And these schools have such great medical staffs and equipment.
Miller brings it down. The Cardinals down by 4, 11-7. Miami put together a 7-0 run.
Joseph is one of the best defensive guards that I've seen. He really brings a different level of defensive intensity for Miami. And when they play the 3 guards with Wong in there with him, it really gives them a lot of perimeter pressure.
And they lose Charlie Moore, obviously graduating, and now an opportunity for different guys in the backcourt to step up.
As Coach was explaining, he's a different player than Moore was. Moore was much more an offensive player, where Joseph is much more defensive player.
The feed to Joseph and one on cue.
That speed that Miami had, they get it coming off with transition. You know, Coach L has talked about we have to find another way to score, and they use their defense to score offensively. That was their trait last year. He's trying to establish that same trait this year.
The foul picked up by L. Ellis. That's his first. Points off of turnovers, already a big difference maker for the Hurricanes, who lead it by 7.
And now they come with the full court pressure. Whenever Joseph is in the game, he really tries to heat the ball up.
And this was obviously the concerns coming in among them for Louisville, is the drive by Ellis, the kick outside. Miller lights up a 3. That's no good. Tipped around and contained by Omier. Poplar will try it and hit.
Poplar is not, when other coaches talk about him, they don't talk of him as a shooter, but he's really a good catch and shoot guy, and he gets a lot off the penetration of the guards.
17-7 lead for the Hurricanes. Huntley Hatfield trying to bang away down low. Hook shot, right hand, good.
That young man does a really good job with angles. The coaching staff is really high on him. They felt like going big, it allows him to get a better matchup, especially in the post area, because he's played by a 4, not a 5.
Transfer from Tennessee. They hope he can be one of the difference makers on the floor against a little bit of an undersized Miami team. And he comes up with a steal there. Ball loose. Maintained, though. And now a travel. So the Hurricanes able to get control of it with Omier, but eventually leading to a travel.
Yeah, but the fact that they didn't come up with it clean, when you're losing, it's just little things. It's not anything big. Loose balls, turnovers, just little things that you do that aren't positive plays come up and really hurt you. And that's the thing that I know Coach Payne has worked hard with this Louisville team, not just from a basketball standpoint, but mentally stepping up and being able to come up with those type of plays.
And mentally, there's no question they've been challenged. First 3 games of the year, lost all at home, all by 1 point. Miller, and a foul coming up. That was the first time, at least since it was able to be tracked by ESPN Stats and Info back to the 80-81 season, at least.
Oh, without question. This Louisville program is a proud program, and they're going to be back. I mean, they have had great players. They've had great fan support. This is a city that lives and breathes basketball, so they really follow their cards. And so they certainly have the right man in Coach Payne leading them, and they're going to be back.
Jalen Withers with a bucket. Following the foul charge to Nigel Pack. So Louisville trying to get a charge out of the crowd here. 4 in a row. Joseph with the swing. Inside, losing the ball is Omier. A turnover. Ellis surrounded by 3 players. And luckily, Louisville able to maintain possession. Huntley Hatfield, now he's double teamed. Breaks through, misses the shot. Into the front court go the Hurricanes. Wing 3 is in. Anthony Walker hits the 3, and a timeout called by the Cardinals.
The spacing Miami gets really good shots, and Walker was able to follow with a great shot.
Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house.
Jones and Perry Clark with you. Miami up 20-11, and so far, a couple of things that stand out here, Perry. You look at the scoring, Huntley Hatfield and Withers combined for 11 points. The bad news, not much from everyone else.
No, and you have to have balance. And with that, Ellis has to contribute with those 2 guys. Now all of a sudden you've got a potent offensive attack. Miami, on the other hand, has had really balanced scoring, and that's the difference, being able to integrate your scorers.
El Ellis is the leading scorer for this Louisville team, averaging just a tick under 17 points per game. He has not been a factor thus far offensively, and that's a big problem.
They're passing the ball too far outside. They got real bad angles trying to feed the post. Ellis has to penetrate. He's got to get the ball inside the top of the key and then make the pass into the post area or the low post area. They're starting their offense out around half court, and that's too far and that's too extended. Joseph's doing a really good job pressuring the ball and keeping the ball out there.
They struggle taking care of the basketball. Obviously, they're also one of the most inexperienced teams in college basketball. How much does that play into it?
Well, it plays a lot, but as the season goes on, you pick up certain things. And, I mean, the coaches are in the film room with these guys, and they're making them understand this coaching staff. You talk about winners. You talk about Kenny Payne. You talk about Danny Manning. You talk about guys that have won. Nolan Richardson has really done a great job of teaching these young guys how to play.
7 turnovers so far for the Cardinals. That 3 off the mark by Kamari lands.
I was saying Nolan Smith, I meant to say. But, I mean, all of these guys that come from winning situations, they won national championships, and so the teaching is there. It's an understanding of what they have to do to be successful. And a lot of it has to do offensively as far as getting into an offensive flow and getting easy shots and not turning the ball over.
So much success at every level on that bench. You know, they're just itching to get this thing turned around for Louisville.
And they will.
Joseph trying to pick his way through the Cardinals defense. Down low, shot on the way, trickling in from Anthony Walker. So Walker's given Jim Larinaga a little bit boost off the bench. It's an 11-point lead.
Well, one of the things that Coach Larinaga has done is starting to integrate his rotation and getting guys in the rotation that can help them as they go deeper into the ACC season.
The floater by Ellis is in, and he's on the board for the first time today.
That's a perfect shot for him. The difference in that possession and the previous possession, the ball that got into the paint. And Ellis is quick enough and handles the ball well enough to be able to take the ball wherever he wants it to be on the floor.
3 from the corner, that missing out of the hands of Bensley Joseph. And a rebound controlled by the Cardinals. Ellis. Now Mike James going for the ride. Ellis, elbow J. And a rebound taken away by A.J. Casey of the Hurricanes. Casey. Fake the bucket. A.J. Casey off the bench. And again, Miami coming up with different offensive answers so far in this first half. So Casey has contributed. Anthony Walker contributing as well, leading to an 11-point advantage. Ellis draws him in with the kick out. The wing 3, that may have been deflected, but missed everything nonetheless.
This Miami team, though, has a lot of weapons. And the way they play, they utilize their weapons real well because they pass the ball. They all can put the ball on the floor. They're very skilled. And the system that they run with the dribble weaves, the ball screens, allow them to get the spacing that they want so guys can be able to take advantage of their skill sets. And whether or not it's Casey or guys that come in off Joseph and guys Walker that come in off the bench, they're able to play in a flow to their abilities and potentials.
Isaiah Wong back in after leaving due to that injury earlier on in the game, and the three-pointer is in, courtesy of Jalen Withers. Cuts it to an 8-point game at 24-16. Let's see if Louisville can power through some adversity. They faced a lot of that, obviously, at 0-7 this season. Wong stumbling, lost the ball, and he went out of bounds.
Isaiah Wong is a marvel. When he wants to get to the basket, it doesn't matter who's there. He's one of the best in the country of being able to penetrate the paint and get the ball to the basket, and he does a great job of creating for the other guys because he's unselfish and he can kick it or he can finish.
8.5 minutes left to go first half. 8-point lead for the Hurricanes. ACC opener for the Cardinals and the Hurricanes. The flip by Ellis, no good on a Wong board. The feed, Poplar, stripped, out of bounds, and it will stay with Miami. So some quick hands there on the other end.
But again, that was great action that time by Louisville. Ellis had a really good look, just missed the shot, but then they didn't get back as well as they should have in transition.
Wong, catch and shoot, got it. Isaiah Wong extending the lead back out to double figures at 10. One of 4 Miami players this season, averaging double figures. Into the corner, Withers again, short this time. Omier with a board. Nigel Pack trying to find Omier down low. Had that ball knocked away from him. A scrum. And another turnover committed by the Hurricanes. And a 10-point lead.
Problems for Louisville. Their offense creates easy opportunities for their opponents. You see Miami right there on the run out off a steal. They get an easy basket. The next time down, they move the ball around. They get a steal, run out, and Miami's able to score without in transition. The next time down, again, a turnover, they kick the ball out, Miami pushes it and winds up getting a 3 out of it. And so Louisville's defense is not that bad, but they don't get a chance to set it up because their offense puts them in a transition situation and they wind up giving up easy baskets, and that's the difference in this ball game.
And underline that phrase, easy baskets. Miami in the first half so far, shooting 68% from the field. And another mistake. Pack, ahead of the pack, lays it in. Largest lead of the game for the Hurricanes at 12.
You know, it's awful hard to come up with a game plan and to prepare when you have turnovers like that that just give teams easy opportunities.
Ellis tries to drive. Outside, now the baseline attack, lost the ball. And the fans in the KFC Yum Center restless. And Wong gets fouled. I mean, how much of this is affecting the offensive side too, because you're starting to press now that you're down by 12?
Well, what it does is I think it affects you defensively because you give up easy baskets and people think your defense is not very good when the Louisville half-court defense is really not bad. I mean, they've done a really good job of eliminating penetration, but they have to do a better job in transition. And then all of a sudden Miami gets in a rhythm, and like I said, Miami has a lot of skilled players. And they space the floor real well, and so they use their spacing to get dribble drives and to get three-point shots.
Fabio Basili, and he picked up that foul in the last Miami possession. Tries a 3 here short. And Poplar with the loose ball as Miami will try to build upon a 7-0 run. 8 different Hurricanes have scored in this game.
You know, I mentioned something to Coach Larranaga before the game. This Miami team, they really like each other. I mean, and they really share the ball real well. They like playing with each other, and you can see it in their play. Wong that time knocked down that 3, and he's such a complete guard.
Withers gets to the rim, gets fouled. And that's been one of the few areas Louisville has been able to thrive at, and that's getting to the free throw line on attacks.
And I think they have to increase that even more, because when you're not scoring and you go into lulls, you have to find a way to manufacture points. And what's a better way of doing that than going to the foul line? A couple of times on drives, they've driven the ball, got the ball in the paint, and then kicked it and wound up with a 3 where I think maybe they can challenge, because Miami really doesn't have a shot block.
We've seen some amazing fans across the ACC, and now we need your help. This winter, ACC Network wants to experience each sport from your perspective. So snap a pic or take a video, tag it with hashtag AllTheDevotion, and post it to your social. You just might see it on ACC Network. Miami giving their fans plenty to be happy about so far with a 16-point lead here in the ACC opener.
Louisville gone to a zone, which they do sometimes. It's a 2-3, but the wings come up high.
Poplar from deep. Tipped outside by Omier, and it will go over to Louisville.
Against that 2-3, Miami's just going to space it the way they do, because really outside of Omier, everybody else can shoot threes. So they'll kind of space it and play it almost like a man and either take the 3 or look for driving lanes.
The drought continues for the Cardinals. Approaching 4 minutes without a field goal. Basili. Now the feed to Huntley Hatfield. Shot clock under 10 and another turnover. 10 turnovers for the Cardinals as Wong goes in, lost the ball, had it knocked away from him by Withers. Vasily wide open for three, missed it. Poplar with a loose ball. This is a Louisville team that averages 16 turnovers per game. It's going to be tough against this Miami team if they don't take better care of the basketball. Down low. And once again, Norchad Omier going glass for two.
Omier is so tough in that low post, and Miami utilizes him so well. Like I said, this group of Miami, they play well together. They like each other. They share the ball. They know where guys like to get the ball, and they give them the ball in the areas in which they can score.
Omier entered the leading scorer, and you guessed it, another steal. In the lane, Miller can't get it to go, and the rebound controlled by Withers. Vasily leaning in, tough shot, can't get it, and Poplar battling for the loose ball. And certainly Miami coming into this game, we talked about maybe the rebounding situation being an issue for them, not so far in this game.
Well, it's mainly because of the shot selection of Louisville. I don't know when Louisville has had a clean look at the basket.
Wong short on a three.
Every shot that Louisville has taken so far has been challenged, which means that it's either a bad shot or a quick shot.
James will try it and lays it in. So Mike James finally gets something going. And he's another one of their top players offensively that has been quiet in this first half. James averaging 7 points per game. He, along with Ellis, got to find a way to cut into this deficit. Miller with a jumper. Off the mark of Vasily Bor. In the lane, Withers. The kick, open three. No good.
See, that time I thought Withers could have got all the way to the rim when he kicked the ball back out because nobody actually challenged him at the basket.
Nigel Pack rattles out. And a rebound corralled by James. James with steam. Leans in and draws the foul. Poplar, one of the first Hurricanes there. 16-point lead for the Miami Hurricanes. More from Kentucky. Stay tuned.
I'm the captain of the Pee Wee football team. We may be small, but we are.
Half leading it by 16. Derek Jones and Perry Clark with you from the KFC Yum Center. And the Hurricanes scoring very balanced to start 8 different players have scored.
That's Miami's secret sauce. They're balanced. And as long as they keep that balance, and Coach Larinaga has done a tremendous job with his chemistry, there will be an awful tough out because they can come at you a lot of different ways. And the fact their chemistry is so good right now, he can come off the bench with Joseph, which gives them another dimension, and they can go with the 3 guards. Their skill level, their ability to space the floor and shoot makes them awful difficult.
Foul picked up by Wooga Poplar as James no good on the first free throw attempt. Talking about the Hurricanes, this is one of the few programs in the country that did not really have anyone transfer out of the program.
Who leaves Miami?
Yeah, that's touche.
I mean, the school, the culture that Coach Larinaga has created, and give his staff a lot of credit because they've identified guys. Because he's hired guys that know him and know his personality, and they've brought in guys that fit, and that's why they've been able to continue their success.
Up by 15 here after 1 out of 2.
Heck, they fired me. I still stay 4 more years.
And the dunk down low by Norchad Omier, who's having himself a first half as the lead balloons to 17. And this, unfortunately for Louisville, has been a part of their DNA this season.
See, they're trying to feed the post from above the top of the key. That's a bad angle to feed the post.
Ellis gets rejected by Omier, and another possession for the Hurricanes.
With Ellis's size, he can't get too deep. He's got to make a decision what he's going to do with the ball around the top of the key or the minute he gets into the paint.
Joseph, fadeaway J, short. And right there on the spot is Jordan Miller to clean it up.
Miller is a really capable player. He does a little bit of everything for Miami. He can play all 5 positions because he had at some point in time. And I think he's really one of the key clogs to this Miami attack.
1 minute left to go in the half. James in the corner. Down low. Up with the right-handed shot. Huntley Hatfield. That doesn't go, and Wong out of the pack with it for the Hurricanes. This has gone pretty much according to plan for Miami in the first 20. Omier will crash in. Hooks it with the right hand off the glass. Norchad Omier once again.
Teams in the ACC better get used to this young man. He's really crafty. He's very deceptive because he doesn't look overpowering, but his knowledge of the game and the veracity in which he plays makes him a real force.
The Sun Belt Player of the Year, absolutely having his way with Louisville in this first half.
And see, that move right there was the first time a Louisville player attacked the basket and actually tried to finish. In the past, when they have attacked, they tried to kick it for a 3. When you attack, you wind up getting an easy basket, and that makes life easy.
Being the best takes hard work. The world keep promises.
42-23 lead for the Hurricanes as Kenny Payne trying to do a lot of teaching so far through the first 7.5 games.
Well, let me tell you something. KP is loved in the basketball world. They're going to get good players. They were forced this past year to have to deal with possible NCAA sanctions and everything, so it was hard to get guys through the portal, not knowing what would wind up happening.
The drop to Pack, 3 to shoot, lets it go. No good, and that closes out the first half. Miami dominating Louisville in the first 20. Jordan Miller, of course, Norchad Omier having a successful first half for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I mean, this was typical Miami basketball, sharing the basketball, creating offense off their defense. A great first half for Miami. It's really nice to be 21, I tell you what. That's a big surprise. Thank you very, very much. But, you know, right now what Louisville really needs to do is, I think, go back to trying to get the ball inside. They still have time. They don't have to chase threes right now. They can just move the ball, really good shots, and that's what it looks like they're trying to do, whether or not they're posting up Withers or Huntley or whatever. They really need to go and get the ball inside.
So a foul committed by Miami right off the bat. Wooga Poplar picking up his 3rd foul.
Yeah, I thought they got a lot of good play off of Hatfield, posting him inside, trying to get the ball to Curry.
And a turnover as James steps out of bounds on the far baseline. 12 turnovers. What do you think of this cake? I mean, it is National Cookie Day, and it is a cookie cake, so that's pretty impressive.
And you know the way I like sweets, so I mean, this is just like, this is tough. I don't know if this will make this back to South Carolina.
The jumper by Wong, no good. It's 21st birthday. Stay out of trouble tonight. Ellis. And that ball sails out of bounds, but there was a foul first committed by Norchad Omier, number 1 on Omier.
And I think that's what they have to try to do. I think that was the game plan early. Try to go at Omier, get him in some foul trouble, because if he ever does get in foul trouble, it really does change what Miami likes to do.
Withers with the drive, the flip, and the score. Jalen Withers trying to get this Louisville offense going. He was one of the few Cardinals who was able to contribute offensively in the first half. He's got 12. Omier, a monster in the first half for the Hurricanes. Poplar, back to Omier. Hook shot, right hand, short. Loose, and Omier keeps it alive. The jumper by Pack is good, and that perhaps symbolic of Louisville's season thus far.
Without question, but I told you, Omier is so much energy in that low post. He's so fierce and fighting for his position. The ACC is going to learn very quickly that he is a force in that low post area.
James is able to draw the foul, and that's number 2 on Omier.
But at least now you can see a pattern what Kentucky's trying to do. They're really trying to get the ball to the front of the rim. They're really trying to throw the ball inside. And I think if they can continue to work on that, and that's one of the things Coach Payne talked about, continuing to work and get better in certain areas.
Omier, one of the key acquisitions, so to speak, for Miami in the offseason. First scholarship athlete from Nicaragua.
And the way he's playing, there's going to be a lot of scouts over there trying to pull somebody else.
Oh, yeah. 17-point lead here for the Hurricanes.
The object is by about the 12-minute mark, getting to about 10.
Pack, room for a 3, missed it, and Withers with a rebound. Ellis. Again, Ellis has been very quiet in this game offensively.
But he picks his dribble up too high. He's got to get deeper on the court to be able to make his entry passes to the post easier and to put more pressure on the defense.
That's number 2 against Sidney Curry off the offensive foul. And another turnover for the Cardinals. 13 turnovers today. Miami capitalizing. Again, Louisville averaging 16 turnovers a game. And that ball able to stay with Miami as it heads out of bounds.
You know, the Louisville defense is pretty good. Their half-court defense is not bad. The problem is they don't get a chance to utilize it as much as they would like.
Back. Now, quick catch and score by Jordan Miller. So good passing there by the Hurricanes.
Whenever the ball goes into Omier, he always has cutters. Nobody just stands and watches.
Oh! A dunk attempt there by Huntley Hatfield, but a wedgie forcing the jump ball and the Miami possession.
Well, Huntley Hadley has really been a focus right now for this Louisville team, trying to get him going. I think that's why Curry's in the starting lineup, to allow them to utilize him more so in the low post.
Scoop shot by Pack missing, slapped it back outside by Omier.
Omier was 1 on 4 that time, and he still was able to control the offensive rebound.
Poplar with the fake and the flyby by Withers, leading to a foul. That's the first on Jalen Withers.
Foul number 24, Jalen Withers, his first, team second.
So Withers and company still having a hard time here corralling this Miami offense, as Poplar set to go to the free throw line. The Philadelphia native at the stripe. Here's Wednesday's featured women's basketball game right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Elizabeth Kitley and number 9 Virginia Tech in Chestnut Hill, taking on a very balanced Boston College team. It's the first ACC matchup for both teams. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern. As Poplar able to extend the lead out to 19 at 46-27.
You see where Ellis is operating from? He's too high. Yeah, it's. You don't have passing lanes. You got to shorten passing lanes. You can't get the ball to the elbow, and you force your coach to call a timeout because you can't ever get into an offensive operating position where you can really score.
The Cardinals talking it over, down by 19.
Hims help.
Derek Jones and Perry Clark with you from Louisville, Kentucky. It is a 48-27 lead for the Miami Hurricanes, as you always enjoy seeing those mascots fire away those T-shirts. Have you ever been able to fire off one of those things before? Have you ever used one?
No, never. In fact,
look scary.
even when I'm in the stands, when they start firing, I try to go the other way. I mean,
yeah, I don't want any part of that. That's I leave it to the pros. Ellis in the lane, the runner, an air ball, but stays with Louisville because it's last touched by the Hurricanes. 21-point lead for Miami. ACC opener for Louisville and Miami. And talking to Coach Larinaga, Perry, before the game, he mentioned, you know, this is a new season for everybody. So those first 7 games for Louisville go out the window as the 3 by James leads to a new possession for Louisville. He felt it was a new kind of season, and that's kind of what we've seen, at least on the side of his team.
well, it is, but you have to get away from the habits, the bad habits, and it gives you a chance to now start to do good habits and really take advantage of your players and your system.
Withers can't hit on the 3. As the woes shooting the rock continue for Louisville. That's been another problem for them this season, coming in shooting just 38% from the field. And as you can see there, shooting the 3 today, not great. Miller for 3, rattles out.
Louisville gets no easy baskets. I don't remember them getting a run out all day today as far as a fast break.
Corner 3, that's no good from James. The rebound taken once again by the Hurricanes and Jordan Miller. Wong is fouled along the baseline.
Foul number 24. Second.
And the Hurricanes will set up shop after the second foul by Jalen Withers in a moment. Jim Larinaga, part of the history of Miami basketball, but we've got another person in here who also knows a thing or two about Miami basketball.
You guys keep pulling the surprises on me today. You know?
This is the last one, I promise. This is it. What do you remember about that time?
Oh, it was a very special time. It was a transition. We had good teams. I took over for Leonard Hamilton, who had just went for the Wizards. It was a transitional period. The Big East that we were in at that time was really good. They were sending 6 teams to the NCAA tournament, but the folks at Miami, just tremendous people. And, you know, James Jones, one of my players, then is now president of the Phoenix Suns. And so it was a good time in my life.
He had a very notable NBA career for sure. As Miller. And the Hurricanes back to it. Shot clock under 10. Pack will try it from deep and hit.
Nigel Pack for 3.
This Miami team offensively, I mean, they really execute extremely well. And now they put Joseph in the game, and when he's in the game, it's full court pressure. He only knows one speed in which to play, and he's going to really get after you. And if Ellis has had a tough day so far, it's just gotten tougher because Joseph is really going to work him bringing the ball up the court.
So Joseph picks up the infraction there. That's his first foul. In the lane, blocked at the rim, tipped around and grabbed eventually by Miami. Good defensive stop there by A.J. Casey on Huntley Hatfield.
And that was great offensive execution that time by Louisville. That's exactly what they need to do. They got a seal. They had an easy shot. They just missed it.
I think when you look at a team like Louisville, and they're talented players on this roster, there's no question about that, but the confidence as Coach Payne tries to sift through this season, how do you keep these guys confident and attacking?
That's a tough thing for a coaching staff to do. Coach Payne was just looking at Ellis' shot, and if you see the face he just made, you know, because you got to build him up. You got to try to help him through. And so that's been really, really difficult. There you see Wong, and he does what he does really well. He attacks the basket, and he's able to finish. He's got such a strong upper body, and it may not look at it physically, but he really always is able to get the ball to the rim. He plays with such a pace and a passion where he's always in control.
3-point play for Isaiah Wong. Another run by the Hurricanes. 10 straight. Wong with 8. The Cardinals getting doubled up by the Hurricanes.
Well, you know, you were talking back about Coach Payne. he's the right guy for the job. He's won every place he's been, and he's the guy that has the emotion and the knowledge to be able to help them through this period.
Wong after the turnover for three, no good, and knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Miami, but you see a couple of things there on that last possession. Miami's so good at help defense and then trying to transition that into offense.
Yeah, you know, this Miami team may not be the type of team that's good for Louisville to play right now because of their pressure, because of their transition offense, and the skill level in which they play with. They can take advantage of a lot of mistakes, and they've got veteran guys handling the basketball, and as I say that, they just turn it over. It looked like Pack caught a knee there, but I mean, this Miami team is so skilled with that. And right now, the things that hurt Louisville is pressure, transition offense, and so those are the things that Miami really thrives on.
First foul against Anthony Walker, as Jim Larinaga has to be pretty pleased with what he's seen from his team so far, up 27.
You know, and see, this is what happens. Ellis is struggling, so they take him out, and Coach Manning is talking to him on the bench, trying to clean up some things, but they really don't have anybody to take his place. And so you're kind of forced with trying to teach as you play, and that's a very difficult thing any coach would tell you to be able to do.
Walker tried to keep it alive after a good flurry of activity from him. It's Basile, though, for the Cardinals, and a turnover once again for Louisville.
Basile is a young man that a lot of people are very high on. The coaching staff is very high on, but they don't think he's there yet. And they aren't trying to put him in the situation where he may lose some confidence. And so they want to bring him along slowly, but they don't have that luxury right now to be able to do that. You know, it's really a balance as a coach to be able to get on players, to motivate the players, and yet not take away their confidence. Because once you lose your confidence and stop believing in your abilities and in yourself, you got all these other people trying to attack you. It's awful hard to perform.
Wong, corner three, no good. Nearly kept alive by Casey. Back over to Louisville. And in this game, they have not been able to really sustain any runs to kind of cut into this deficit.
No, you know, when I came to Georgia Tech, Bobby Crimmins in his first year at Georgia Tech won 3 conference games. You know, and I came there, they had bags over their heads. And it was tough. But by the time I left, we were preseason #1 in the country. And so what I'm saying to you is I know what Coach Payne and his staff are capable of doing. This city of Louisville is a basketball haven. Many nights I walked in here and had to face Denny Crum and his 2 policemen that always used to walk around with him all the time. And this Louisville program is in good hands. And with this fan base, they're going to be back.
Shot clock to 5. And a steal off Basile. It's Wong. Off to the races and throws it down. "12 straight for the Hurricanes, the largest lead of the night." Turnaround shot off the mark once again. And a rebound by the Hurricanes, but Basile steps in to make the steal. 3-on-2. Floating in and scoring is Kamari Lands.
These fans are just waiting for something to cheer about. You know, this place is explosive, and I'm just telling you, there's no city that loves basketball more than Louisville, Kentucky.
First points for Louisville since the 1835 mark, flipped up and in on the other side by A.J. Casey. Once again, the Cardinals looking to sustain some kind of run, as Roosevelt Wheeler getting some run for the first time today. Can't hit that shot. Joseph back down the floor. Arches one off the glass, a little bit too strong. James flying in. James looked like that shot may have caught the support underneath. 3-on-1, the lob and the throwdown by A.J. Casey will usher us into a timeout. Miami up big.
Time is out on the floor.
And guys, hair game day is every day.
It's V Week at ESPN when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. And Jim Valvano, an iconic figure in college basketball. His brother Bob is working radio for Louisville here today. What a great basketball family.
It was, and Bob would tell you he was always the better looking one of the family. But yeah, I coached at DeMatha High School and had Sidney Lowe and Derek Wittenberg, who won the national championship with Coach V. And so I knew Coach V before, but his passion and his belief of life and how he just made everybody around him better and feel better is very, very special. And that's why the V Week has become so special for those that have known him and remember those times.
Offensive foul will go the other way after the drive by A.J. Casey. Again, to donate, v.org/donate.
You know, Derek, he was so unselfish. I mean, you know, nobody, you couldn't dislike him. I mean, you know, there was competitiveness in the ACC and trying to beat people and recruiting and everything. But V made everything light and funny, and it was never personal. And his care about the game and people was the thing that made it so special. You know, I still talk to Derek Wittenberg, and you know, and so it's just, the V Week is just a very special time.
And of course, it's the 40th anniversary of that national championship team that shocked Houston. As Huntley Hatfield able to drop that one in to cut it to a 60-31 game as we approach the midway point here in this second half. The layup is in from Harlan Beverly. So Beverly on the move, and he'll get a chance at a three-point play.
Yeah, this is one of the things that they like with Beverly, his ability to put the ball down and really attack it. And he fits in with how Miami plays, because with the spacing, he normally has room to be able to attack the basket.
So Beverly out of Detroit, Michigan, getting an opportunity here and converting upon the three-point play. 63-31 lead for Miami. And when you look at the numbers of this game so far, Miami has been pretty much on schedule, averaging 73 points per game. They're at 63. They're going to get, you would have to think, very close to that number and then some. Huntley Hatfield can't convert. Kept alive to Ellis. And a foul committed there by Beverly. That's his first.
But again, I think that's a good sign for Louisville, attacking the offensive glass, and I think that's something that they can continue to work on that will help them win games in the future.
1-on-1 situation after the foul committed by Beverly. So Ellis at the stripe. Knocks down the first free throw. Just the third point for Ellis. And Ellis coming in, averaging just under 17 points per game. But today it has been a rough outing. Off the miss. A possession for the Hurricanes, leading at 63-32. The ACC opener. Fed down low. Baseline, and a turnover committed there as Christian Watson stepping out of bounds and now limping as he makes his way back down the floor.
You know, the history of this league, successful teams have always had good guard play, good point guard play. I learned that at Georgia Tech. I talked about being there with Bobby. He went and got Mark Price, and all of a sudden life changed. Then he went and got Stephon Marlboro, life changed. Then he got Kenny Anderson, life changed again. So the guard play really is important in the success in the ACC.
Ellis with 6 to shoot. Ellis trying to wheel and deal. Misses the jumper. Rebound grab by Walker, but a foul against the Hurricanes. And favor Ire, who's into the game for the first time. That's his first.
You know, it's nice to be able to get playing time for guys in meaningful situations so that you can get your bench better, because as you go through this tough stretch, which is the ACC schedule, you're going to need guys to come in off the bench and really help.
Oh, no question about that. You look at the upcoming schedule for Miami, and they're going to dip in and out of non-ACC games, but you've got Virginia on the horizon. You've got back-to-back road games against Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. So no question, depth always a big piece in being able to survive the perils of the ACC. So Brandon Huntley Hatfield, the Tennessee transfer, with 10.
He's been about the only bright spot right now for Louisville today. I think he's stepped up. I think that they've tried to go to him, and he's responded.
Shot clock to 5 for Joseph. He'll launch a 3 that catches the front of the rim, gets back his own miss. That's frustrating. Certainly Coach Payne wearing that frustration here today, watching his team struggle. Watson 3 is in. Christian Watson hits a 3-pointer, and the lead at 66-34. The feed, and eventually it goes back over to Withers, but he steps out of bounds.
There you see, penetrate, kick, winds up getting a wide open 3. That's Miami offense. I mean, they just do a really good job of spacing. I don't think people remember Coach Larinaga was an assistant at Virginia with Ralph Sampson and all those great Ralph Sampson years and teams. So he learned a lot about this league. He learned a lot about how to play with spacing and good players, and he's just carried that over as a head coach.
Steal by Lands, and Lands will go to the line. Off the foul from Walker, number 2. And a double bonus situation from here on out for Louisville.
Again, Louisville's half-court defense is not that bad. I mean, but again, if they can just limit the opponent and make them have to go against their half-court defense every possession or a high percentage of time, they will be successful. A lot of Miami's points have come off of runouts and transition-type baskets, and that makes it awful hard to defend.
30-point lead for the Hurricanes. That's scoring balance. 10 of the 11 available players have scored. Near steal, but maintained now, and is stolen. The feed, Miller blocked at the rim, and that's going to be a goaltending call. And the Cardinals get a bucket. More in a moment.
Well, I tell you, Coach Payne, I know this has been a tough start, but there have been some other guys that had made a tremendous impact in this league that came off their first year with tough starts. Bobby Crimmins, Leonard Hamilton, and the great Coach K. And so the best is yet to come, and Coach Payne has the ability to put this program back on the map, and just like these guys have done in those respective schools. He's sitting right next to a legend, one of the all-time winners of college basketball, and Danny Manning. You talk about Nolan Smith. So, the best of Louisville basketball is ahead of them. In this environment, Derek, it's just so special. And these fans here love the basketball so much that they want the Cards to be right back in the mainstream of college basketball.
Ire, beautifully done. And it's a good point. You look at some of those names, and obviously historical names. It takes time to get a program back on track, and the one thing about having this fan base is, sure, fans are going to want to win, but it is going to take some time.
Well, and here's the other thing, environment here. Louisville has always been, the fans have always made the Louisville players play well, because when they don't, they hear about it.
Yes.
You know, and so they hear about it at the grocery store. They hear about it at the at the shopping center. They hear about it in the clubs. They hear about it. And so one of the things Coach Payne has tried to do is be positive with these guys, because I know he knows that they're hearing about it out in the community. And so he's trying to nurture that and show how much he loves them and bring them along. And so that's part of the growing process.
Ooh, Ira bumps James. And that's going to be number 2 on Ira.
Foul number 12, Ira, his second.
And after a game like this, shooting 29%, they might hear a word or two.
I saw the great Jerry Eves back in the media room, and you talk about some of the names that have come out of here. Daryl Griffin, who was an unbelievable player. I mean, he was a showstopper. He dropped the mic when Daryl Griffin walked in the room. I mean, and, you know, Purvis Ellison, I mean, and it goes on and on and on. And so, you know, the names and the people that have played here and the success of this program, you know, Denny Crum, and I coached against him, was amazing. I mean, he'd just go to the stat sheet, and he would never be philosophical. He said, well, if we only shoot 30%, we're going to lose every game. If we can only get 15 rebounds, we're going to lose every game. And so, you know, this institution in this area has produced so many really outstanding players, and this fan base has been so great for college basketball.
Ira and 1. So favor Ira draws the foul from Brandon Huntley Hatfield. And he'll go to the stripe to try to finish off the three-point play. And
they really like Ira.
Yes.
I mean, they think his size. They talk about the rebounding that concerns them some. If this young man can come on and all, it just presents a whole different dynamic.
And look, there's no doubt there's a lot of pressure on Norchad Omier to produce in terms of rebounding, which is what he was brought in to do, without a doubt, as Huntley Hatfield gets stripped on the way up, tracked down by Poplar. Miami, you'd have to think, for them to have thoughts of getting back to where they were last year. And Poplar, under duress, gives it up. Miller, he gets raked. And he's, you know, no calls if they're letting him play. And it'll stay with Louisville.
And we have a great officiating crew. These are Final Four officials. But one of the things that I know Coach Larinaga, as he goes over and he's talking to his bench, you know, is about handling pressure. And even though they walk out of here with a win today, he's really going to go over that, because teams are going to see the film and they're going to all of a sudden feel like maybe we can put some more pressure on them.
Land's missing the 3, the run out for Pack. Pack lobs it up, and a turnover. Ellis trying to run. They lob it the other way and throw it down with J.J. Traynor. Just to kind of clean up that point about Omier, you'd have to think they're going to need some low post presence besides Omier to really put a dent in potentially some issues in rebounding.
Yes, but again, I think Miller and Poplar are athletic enough, and in the spacing of the floor, they can rebound in space. And so I think that will negate it some. There you see in transition, that's the easy basket. That might be the easiest basket Louisville's been able to score today. And, you know, if you're going to be successful, being able to manufacture easy baskets is a major part of that.
Easy baskets. Well, we haven't mentioned that in Louisville a lot today. They've struggled really picking those up.
Well, yes, and again, coaching staff, they'll get back, they'll break down film, they start doing drills. I know I talked to Coach Payne about a drill that they talk about doing where you have to make 8 passes without a turnover, and then you have to try to execute your offense. And they're starting to do that and work on that. Again, he's got some answers. He understands the problem. He's got some answers for some of the problems that this team faces.
Bucket for Poplar to extend the lead to 72-44. Lands throws it up and throws it in. Kamari Lands A high degree of difficulty with that
Again,
shot.
a difficult shot. Yeah.
Pack. Into the corner. The runner by Watson is in. Christian Watson, the Maryland native.
He's a young man that they hope can really step up and again help them. He's another young man that plays well in space, handles the ball extremely well, attacks the basket off the dribble.
They think he's got a chance to be a pretty good perimeter defender for this team, as James, off the miss, able to retrieve. Ellis, the kick. Open three by Trainer, missed it. Ellis gets it back, layup is no good. Trainer down low, battling, lost the ball. The flip, that's no good from Wheeler. Oh boy.
That's bad for Louisville, but it's bad for Miami to give up all those offensive rebounds, because that goes to what we talked about earlier, their inability to rebound the basketball.
They gave up 19 offensive rebounds in the win against Rutgers, but here, up by 30 against Louisville.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through that.
The Huddle crew will have their annual Selection Day special, a one-hour show that'll include breakdowns and analysis of the ACC's bowl-bound teams and their matchups. Our coverage starts at 9 Eastern right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Lots to be excited about regarding bowl season.
Who's your four?
Well, obviously Georgia, Michigan. I can't leave TCU out. Oh, so the four have been named. So it is going to be Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and TCU. Ellis with the drive and a foul.
That's what they were looking for Ellis to do earlier in the game and not settle. You know, early in the game, he was playing around half court, and defensively, that's where you try to get your point guards to play and then try to initiate offense. He's got to get the ball deeper. If they pressure him, he's got to have the ability to blow by people, under control, make the next pass, or finish at the rim.
Free throw by Ellis is in. Miami looking to hold Louisville under 30% for the game, and it's, if they're able to do that, be a little bit of a historical mark for Miami. They haven't held an opposition under 30% shooting in over 5 years. Joseph to the post for Ire. Hook shot, right hand, lipped out. Rebound taken by Huntley Hatfield. Under 3 minutes left to go from Louisville. And that ball goes out of bounds. Again, another turnover. Number 19 for the Cardinals, average 16 coming in.
You know, if the big guy is going to come over and do what we call trap the box, then whoever he is guarding needs to go to the front of the rim so the guard can drop the ball off to him, and he will wind up getting a layup.
Trying to break that double team. Joseph setting up shop here with nearly 2.5 minutes left to go. Watson down low, missed the layup. Ire battling, gets an offensive rebound, lost it though. Devin Ree into the game for the Cardinals. Lands firing away from the wing, knocks down the three-pointer. 76-51.
That was a good shot, but a tough shot.
Watson on the attack, baseline drive, missed the layup, tipped by Ire, out of bounds. Louisville ball.
Ire did a really good job of sealing the big, so Watson had a wide open drive that time, just missed it.
Zan Payne will toss in the basketball here. He's the son of Louisville head coach Kenny Payne, transferred from Kentucky.
I can tell you no one wants to get this Louisville team back and get them a win than the coaches. I mean, they're thinking about what to do, how to do it 24/7. It's constantly on your mind. Who can we make better? What group should we play more? What defense we should run? What offense we should go? And it's just a constant thing.
The process to kind of refresh and reset will begin again as Joseph tries a three, missed it, tipped around, and Ire with a loose ball. And Ire gets fouled. So Ire, again, you can kind of see that game potentially being able to help the Hurricanes down the line here.
Oh, without question, his size. And he's got offensive moves around the basket. He uses his body well. He posts up deep, which is a really big thing for a big guy to be able to get deep post position.
Ire sinks the free throw.
Number 4, Wheeler, back in for the Cardinals.
As Filipos Gogos into the game for the first time today for the Hurricanes. As Ire will try another one here and knocks it down. (78-53) lead for the Hurricanes as we approach 1 minute left to go from Louisville. Hook shot, right hand, trickles out from Wheeler, and a rebound by the Hurricanes.
1 minute.
Worst start for Louisville since 1941. It'll be a 9th straight loss, tailing back to last season, as Watson tries a three. Vasily on the move. .35 seconds left as Lands will try it. Missed it. And a Watson board for Miami. Watson.
This Miami team is really good. They're going to challenge in the ACC this year.
Preseason number 4 in the ACC. We'll see one of the teams above them coming up on the ACC network at the top of the hour with North Carolina taking on a team you and I saw in Virginia Tech.
That's going to be a heck of a ball game. You talk about really good guard play. That Virginia Tech team has a lot of swagger. I mean, they've got a lot of confidence, and Coach Young does a tremendous job in his preparation. That's going to be a heck of a game. You know, it's one of those games that's really going to matter in March, and they're playing it in December. And so, but it's really going to be a significant game in the ACC race.
Jay Alter and Randolph Childress on the call for that one. As Carolina tries to turn things around, the slide for them has caused some stress in Carolina country.
They'll be fine. Miami
gets the win 80-53. They win their 8th game of the season and start off the ACC schedule in winning style with an emphatic win against the Louisville Cardinals, who dropped now to 0-8. The best start for the Hurricanes since the 17-18 season when they started 10-0. And Perry,